umanayim shebe'achim gam yachad. Hine matov umanayim shebe'achim gam yachad. Ready? Come here. How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. Hine matov umanayim shebe'achim gam yachad. Hine matov umanayim shebe'achim gam yachad. How good it is, how good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem, Salam Aleikum, Shalom Aleichem, Salam Aleikum.
Page 24.
Shalom Aleichem, Salam Aleikum, Shalom Aleichem, Salam Aleikum. How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. Hine matov umanayim shebe'achim gam yachad. Hine matov umanayim shebe'achim gam yachad.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
I don't usually bring multiple prayer books with me to the Bima, but tonight I brought an extra book. This is called Sidur Sim Shalom. And tonight, the Shabbat, I want to pay tribute to Rabbi Jules Harlow. Rabbi Harlow died last week at the age of 92. At his funeral, Rabbi Harlow was referred to as the resident poet of the conservative movement. Rabbi Harlow was the editor of this prayer book, Sidur Sim Shalom. The first edition was published back in 1985, and if you grew up attending a conservative synagogue, and I know some of you did, this was very likely the Sidur that you may have grown up with. In addition to being the editor, Rabbi Harlow's prose and poetry are found throughout the Sidur. His poetry is majestic. His prose are eloquent. As an introduction to this evening's Shabbat service, I want to share with you this. Light and darkness, night and day, we marvel at the mystery of stars. Moon and sky, sand and sea, we marvel at the mystery of sun. Twilight, high noon, dusk and dawn. Though we are mortal, we are creation's crown. Flesh and bone, steel and stone, we dwell in fragile, temporary shelters. Grant steadfast love, compassion, grace. Sustain us, O God, our origin is dust. Majesty, mercy, love endure. We are but little lower than the angels. Resplendent skies, sunset, sunrise. The grandeur of creation lifts our lives. Evening darkness, morning dawn. Renew our lives as you renew all time. We continue with Lecha Dodi, page 20.
Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat mekabela. Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat mekabela. Shamor v'zachor v'dibur echad. Hishmianu el hamiuchad, Adonai echad, u'shmo echad, l'shem tiferet ve'litila. Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat mekabela. Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat mekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, ki hi mikor haveracha, merosh mikadem netzucha, sof ma'aseh v'machshava tefila. Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat mekabela. Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat mekabela. Hitoreri, hitoreri, hiva urei, kumi uri, uri uri, shir daberi, kivod Adonai, alayik nigla. Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat mekabela. Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat
Rise and face the Lord as we welcome Shabbat.
Boi v'shalom, ateret bala, gam b'simcha, uv'tohola, toch emunei, am segula, boi chala, boi chala. Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat mekabela. Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat mekabela.
Just as we have all greeted Shabbat, I invite you now to turn to a neighbor and wish them a Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
We continue on page 28.
Baruch hu et Adonai hamevorach, Baruch Adonai hamevorach leolam vaed, Baruch Adonai hamevorach leolam vaed.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim, בחוכמה פותח שערים, ובתבונה משנה עתים, ומחליף את הזמנים, ומסדר את הכוכבים, במשמרותיהם ברקיע כרצונו. בורא יום ולילה, גולל אור מפני חושך, וחושך מפני אור, ומעביר יום ומביא לילה, ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה, אדוני צבאות שמו, אל חי וקיים, תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד, ברוך אתה אדוני, המעריב ערבים. Page 33. We join together at the top of the page. As you taught Torah to those whose names I bear, teach me Torah too. Its mystery beckons, yet I struggle with its truth. You meant Torah for me. Did you mean the struggle for me too? Don't let me struggle alone. Help me to understand, to be wise, to listen, to know. Lead me into the mystery. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Le'olam va'ed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Le'olam va'ed. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
You may be seated.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם להות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, Adonai Elohechem, Amen.
Tonight, we have the pleasure of bestowing on a young child her Hebrew name, and in so doing, welcoming her into the covenant of Abraham and Sarah. So I would like to invite Mariella Westcount to join us on the bima. In order to do so, she'll probably need to bring her parents, Hillary and Adam, and her grandparents. She is pretty in pink. Bruchot habaot tachat kanfei Shekhinah. May you be blessed beneath the wings of Shekhinah. Be blessed with love. Be blessed with peace. Hillary and Adam, today we gather to welcome your daughter into the embrace of the Jewish community. May the divine presence dwell within this child. Today, in the presence of community, we welcome her into the Jewish covenant and bestow upon Mariella her Hebrew name. If you read this.
How precious is your constant love, O God. You shelter us under your wings. O God and God of our ancestors, we thank you for the gift of this little girl. May she grow to maturity, embraced by God's love and love of all who know her. May God's sheltering presence be with her always. May the words of Torah surround her. Clothed in majesty and honor, may she always look to the future with joy.
And if you'll join me in this blessing, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehichnisa b'vrit am Yisrael. And if you'll read the English together.
Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who has made us holy through commandments and commanded us to bring our daughter into the covenant of the Jewish people.
Mishaberach imotenu Sarah, Rivka, Rachel v'Leah, uMiriam ha'Neviah, Ruth v'Abigail v'Esther hamalka, hu yevarech et hayalda ha'ne'ama hazot v'yakirei shema b'Yisrael, Miriam Yona bat Chana v'Adam. Kishem shenechnisa livrit kein techanes leTorah u'lechuppah u'ma'asim tavim. Hodu l'Adonai ki tov ki leolam chazdo. May God, who blessed Sarah and Rebekah, Rachel and Leah, Miriam the prophet, Ruth and Abigail, and Esther the queen, bless this beloved child, and let her name be known in Israel as Miriam Yona bat Chana v'Adam. May her name be known for good and for blessing. May her parents be privileged to see her grow in health, peace, and contentment. As they have brought her into this ancient covenant, so may they, with wisdom and patience, lead her to study Torah, to a life of good deeds, and to a sacred relationship worthy of God's blessing. Give thanks to the one who is good and whose love endures forever. Hillary and Adam, we'd like to hear from you a little bit about her Hebrew name and her English name as well.
So Mariella, or Miriam, which is her Hebrew name, is named after her great-grandmother, Mary Belsky, or who I refer to as Nona. When I think of Nona, I think of someone who is strong-willed, who is constantly giving back to the community, and who wasn't afraid to be bold and show her competitive side. My Nona lived to be 100 years old, and even at that age, she was still willing to play her favorite card game with us. Now, as Mariella continues to grow and shine in so many ways, I just can't help to think how special it is that my Nona's legacy will always continue to live on through Mariella.
Mariella's middle name is Joan, or Yona in Hebrew, and she is named after my grandfather, John. He was someone I looked up to from an early age, and he was a wise person who loved to travel and learn. Mariella's middle name honors his memory.
Mariella's Hebrew name, Yona, is also a memory of my grandfather, Yitzhak. He was somebody who was also very close to our hearts.
And a little bit more about her Hebrew names. So Miriam was a prophet, the first woman in the Bible to be given that title. Miriam was the protective big sister of her younger brother Moses, who sees that her brother does not float away down the Nile. She was gifted and led the women in song and dance after their escape through the parted waters from the Egyptians. As a result, Miriam is always associated with water. Through their 40-year journey, Miriam is always seen as the source of water. Today, at many Seders, Miriam is remembered by a cup filled with water called Kos Miriam. And Yonah, now a popular modern Israeli name, calls to mind the book of Jonah, one of the minor prophets. So Jonah is remembered for being swallowed by a big fish and emerging unscathed. So clearly, this child will be a prophet and will have something to do with water. Maybe an Olympic swimmer, I'm not sure. And now, Adam, and I'll ask you to read this blessing for us.
Source of all life, our hearts are filled with joy for this child who has been entrusted to us. May we be thankful always and speak our thanks not with words alone, but with love, understanding, and tender care with which we hope to raise our child. Be gracious to our child, that she may grow in strength of body, mind, and spirit. May our child find her way in the paths of Torah and good deeds as a loyal member of her people.
And the grandparents would like to join together.
We are thankful for the blessing you have bestowed upon us. We have been granted a new granddaughter to love, the start of the next chapter in our family's chronicle. May our granddaughter grow up in health and happiness. May her dear parents find much joy in the years that lie before them. May we know the joy of passing on to a new generation our values, our stories, and our traditions. Then our prayers will have been answered as we share in the joy of our children and grandchildren. Amen.
And now, the cantor and I would like to bestow a blessing on Mariella. Sure. We're going to wrap you in a tallis.
Yivarech Adonai ve'yishmerech.
May God bless you and keep you.
Ya'er Adonai panav elayich v'yichunech.
May God look kindly upon you and be gracious to you.
Yisa Adonai panav elayich v'yasem lach shalom.
May God bless you with the choicest of blessings, the blessing of peace. And let us all say,
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehecheyanu v'kimanu v'hegiyanu lazman hazeh.
and you brought this beautiful Kiddush cup with you tonight so that we could make a special Kiddush just for Mariella.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen.
L'chaim.
L'chaim.
Should be juice. His hands are full. Grandparents, if you'd like some. I was told it was juice.
She should definitely have us.
She's ready.
It is red, so be careful of the outfit.
Yeah. Mazel tov.
Mazel tov. Simen tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, and simen tov, and mazel tov, and mazel tov, and simen tov, and mazel tov, and mazel tov, and simen tov. Yehelanu, 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 Ulechol Yisrael. Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Ulechol Yisrael. Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Ulechol Yisrael.
Thank you.
Mazel tov.
Mazel tov. We continue on page 39. We join together at the top. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands and marching together. Adonai, mi kamocha, nedar bakodesh, nora, tehilot, Malechutecha, Ra'uvanecha, Bokei Hayam, Lifnei Moshe u'Miriam, Zeili, Adonai Yimloch, Le'olam va'ed. From Jules Harlow. Creator of peace, compassionate God, guide us to a covenant of peace with all your creatures, birds and beasts, as well as all humanity, a reflection of your image of compassion and peace. Give us strength to help sustain your promised covenant, abolishing blind strife and bloody warfare, so they will be no longer devastating the earth. So discord will no longer tear us asunder. Then all that is savage and brutal will vanish, and we shall fear evil no more. Guard our coming and our going, now toward waking, now toward sleep, always within your tranquil shelter. Beloved are you, sovereign of peace, whose embrace encompasses Jerusalem, the people Israel, and all humanity. Page 44. We continue with the Amidah, beginning on page 46. Please rise.
Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Ve'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei hakol, v'zocher chaste avot ve'imachot, u'mevii geula lifnei b'neihem, lema'an shemo b'yahava, melech ozer u'moshiach u'magen, Baruch atah Adonai, magen Avraham, ve'ezrat Sarah.
Each week we remember at this time during our service yet another one of those who are still in captivity. Tonight we remember Dolev Yehud, age 35, who was taken hostage from Kibbutz Nir Oz on October 7th. He and his siblings are the third generation of their family living on the kibbutz. He heard what was happening that morning and left the house to go help. His pregnant wife Siggy stayed with their 3 children for 9 hours in their safe room until being evacuated. Siggy, who has been with Dolev since they were 12 years old, gave birth to their 4th child on October 16th. Dor, the newborn, was named with the letters of Dolev's name to symbolize the continuity of life. Siggy said, "I want him alive, and I want him to know her. She needs to know her father, and she needs to grow up with her father." We continue with the prayers of our heart, and when your prayers are finished, you may be seated. Our thoughts turn to those who are in need of healing. We continue with the Mishaberach on page 253. Mishaberach Avotenu v'Imotenu, Avraham Yitzchak v'Yaakov, Saravka Rachel v'Leah, Hu Yivarech et HaHolim. May the one who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebekah, Rachel, and Leah, bless and heal those who are now ill. Rachel Lazar, Jeffrey Feldman, Violet Linder, Menachem Mendel Ben Gittel, Summer Kurder, Sam Frankel, Richard Jardina, Vida Aziz, Barbara Tripp, Sheila Lasker, Diane Cooperschmidt, Stanley Friedlander, Harry Mesh, Samantha Eckerling, Alan Fox, Joan Weiss, Miriam Gonzalez, Stuart Engel, Laura Widner, Yaakov David Ben Avraham, Esther Pea Bat Miriam, Rachel Samuel, Zani Adiv Ben Rovain Va'ahava Simcha, Matt Lundy, Bob Jugarlo, Christian Mayud, Jackie Raceman, Yosef Zvi Bat Moshe Ve'aviva, and Robert Modell. And to those names, I invite you to add those for whom you are praying. Each week, we are reminded that life always holds the promise of sweetness. We thank God for the gift of Shabbat and pray that our cups will always runneth over with joy. We turn to page 5 as we celebrate Kiddush. And if you are celebrating something, I invite you to join us up on the bima. Maybe it's a birthday, maybe you're becoming a bar mitzvah and you're going to bring your parents and your sister with you. Maybe something great happened to you this week and you would like to join us for Kiddush up on the bima. So please feel free. Maybe you're just feeling great, right?
Yeah, 5 years until your bar mitzvah, we calculated.
Baruch atah Adonai,
Please rise.
Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Asher Kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat hosho v'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit ki hu yom techilah lemikra'e kodesh zecher litziat mitzrayim kivanu v'acharta v'yotanu kidashta mikol hamim v'shabbat kodecha v'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh Shabbat. Amen. You can have a sip. It's grape juice. We think. Good.
So, Gabriel, we are so excited that tomorrow you're going to stand on the bima and celebrate becoming a bar mitzvah. Your Torah portion is tetzaveh, which is all about the clothing that the high priest wore. At least that's one main part of it. And tomorrow, for the first time, you are going to wear your talis. And that, to our community, will be a symbol that you are a young Jewish adult in the Jewish community. And the cantor and I know that you've been working very hard toward this day. We know that you're going to do a great job, and we know that tomorrow is just the beginning of that Jewish journey that's going to lead you to many great places. Always wearing your talis, of course. So we are very excited to share tomorrow with you and celebrate with your family and all of your friends. So Mazel Tov. And this little one was following along. Were you here to celebrate anything? You went to Vermont last week? Awesome. Wow. So Mazel Tov, and he's ready. So Gabriel, Mazel Tov. You're welcome. Mazel Tov. You're welcome. Thank you. You may be seated. This week's Torah portion, Tetzaveh, comes from the book of Exodus, and it is one of my favorite portions. No, it does not include the 10 plagues, the parting of the Red Sea, or the giving of the 10 commandments. Rather, it describes the uniforms of Aaron and his sons in their role as priests. The Torah, often very terse, goes into great detail about the priestly garments. My family, like many Jewish families, has a generations-long connection to the apparel trades, so I find this portion particularly interesting. Aaron, as the high priest, had quite an outfit. It included a breastpiece, an ephod, which we're not quite sure what that was, a robe, a fringed tunic, a headdress, and a sash. He was ready for anything. It sounds complicated, heavy, and to be honest, quite warm. I am glad that Rabbi Prosnit, Cantor Goldman, nor I have to wear such uniforms. The sages couldn't even agree on what exactly that ephod was. Some thought it was an apron that Aaron wore on his back, others on his chest. When Aaron was wearing his priestly uniform, you could not miss him. You knew exactly who he was and what his job was. It is often that way with the clothes we wear. Like Aaron, our profession might dictate what we wear at certain times. For example, police officers, letter carriers, or doctors might wear uniforms that tell us what they do. The tallis that I wear is a uniform of sorts. Generally, on a Friday night, the only ones wearing a tallis are the clergy, and this garment identifies us as such. A 13th century commentary says this: the Talmud understands these words as applying to when the priests wear their priestly garments. When a priest wears the priestly garments in the temple, he is considered as a priest. When he does not, he is considered as a non-priest. Some, like police officers, letter carriers, and doctors, do not wear their uniforms when they're not working. So when they're off duty or not working, we have no idea what they do. Of course, some people wear clothing all the time that clearly identifies their affiliation or membership in a group or their membership of a religion. The Amish come to mind with their distinctive dress, as do Muslim women who may wear a scarf around their head, or some Jewish men who wear a kippah, a head covering at all times, or some Jewish women whose covered heads and modest dress identify them as Orthodox. We too may wear something that identifies us as Jewish, more often than not in the form of a piece of jewelry, such as a Magen David, a Jewish star, or a chai that we might wear around our necks. We may have a favorite t-shirt or a hoodie from a Jewish summer camp, like Camp Harlem or the JCC. But nothing dictates that we wear these all the time. We can take them off and put them on as we like. Years ago, someone coined the term, dress British, think Yiddish. We should dress to fit in, even aspire to dressing like the upper classes, but never forget that we are Jewish. We are not to forget, for if no other reason, the world will not forget. Many of the Jews of Germany imagined that if they looked like everyone else, dressed like their German neighbors, they would be spared the fate suffered by their Orthodox co-religionists with their distinct garb. History has proven them wrong. Lisa Harris Glass, the chief executive officer of Rutgers Hillel, had this to say about Rutgers University in a recent interview published in the New Jersey Jewish News. I believe that if you want to know what 1938 Germany looked and felt like, just look around, because this is it. Right now, it seems unfathomable, but it is happening. The protections we thought we had don't seem to apply to us as Jews. Rutgers is the flagship of the state's public university system and is one of the largest universities in the country. With 6,400, yes, 6,400 Jewish undergraduate students and over 1,000 Jewish graduate students, Rutgers has more Jewish students than any university outside of Israel. And yet, the Jewish population is under attack. Of those 6,400 students, a large portion are Orthodox. That means the Orthodox men at Rutgers wear a kippah or a hat at all times, and the Orthodox women dress modestly. They may think Yiddish, but they do not have the option of dressing British. They dress Yiddish. And right now that puts them at a distinct and dangerous disadvantage. And it's not just the Orthodox students. Any student seen walking in and out of Rutgers Hillel House, an imposing building on the main drag, puts themselves in danger. As does any student who, wishing to express their pride in being Jewish, donning a hoodie from their Jewish summer camp or a Jewish star around their neck. Since October 7th, Hillel has documented 49 instances of anti-Semitic acts on the Rutgers campus. They range from posters of hostages being torn down, to shouted insults, to eggs thrown at a Jewish fraternity house, to the disruption of events and Jews feeling threatened. The 49 instances were the ones that were reported. We can only imagine how many went unreported. The Rutgers police and administration have done little to protect Jewish students. After much pressure from the Jewish community, Rutgers finally instituted a temporary ban on Students for Justice in Palestine due to their harassment of Jewish students. It has become so bad that the Department of Justice is now investigating Rutgers for violations of Title VI of the Civil Rights Act due to incidents of harassment that began after the start of the war. If you follow the news, you know that Rutgers is hardly the only university where Jewish students are under siege. But Rutgers, only a short ride away, feels like it is in our backyard. Many of us have close connections to Rutgers, often as alumni. And one would have hoped that having such a large Jewish student body would have offered a measure of safety rather than making the Jewish students there targets. Overall, the ADL reports a 337% increase in anti-Semitic incidents since the Hamas attacks on October 7th. In the face of such staggering figures, we can be left feeling frightened and a bit hopeless. But there are things that we can do. This Wednesday night, right here at the Temple, we will host a program in conjunction with the ADL on combating anti-Semitism in our schools. Our panel of speakers will include attorneys from the state and federal attorneys general offices and the Office of Civil Rights of the U.S. Department of Education. It is imperative that we know our rights and that we know how to keep our children safe at school. Next month, on March 6th and 7th, several Temple Emanu-El members and I are attending the ADL Never Is Now conference at the Jacob Javits Center in New York. I've never gone to one, but I felt like this year I had no choice but to get this crash course in the state of affairs in the world today. And if you would like to join us, please speak to me. We can and should take what is happening, not only at Rutgers, but at colleges and universities around the country seriously. New Jersey State Assemblyman Gary Shayer of Passaic has introduced a bill to adopt a state definition of anti-Semitism and to recognize swatting, the intentional filing of a false alarm against the house of worship, as a state crime. We should all call our state representatives and ask what they are doing to address anti-Semitism and its rise in New Jersey, especially among our state's universities. There is something else we are doing as we sit here right now at services. Rabbi Prosnit, Emily Halpern, and Mikey Mitgang, our rabbinic intern, are with our confirmation students in Washington, D.C. Cantor Goldman and I will be joining them later tomorrow. Don't worry, Gabriel, we're here for your service tomorrow morning. They are in our nation's capital, along with hundreds of Jewish teens from all around the country to attend the Religious Action Center's Litaken Social Justice Seminar. The Religious Action Center is the voice of social justice for the Reform movement in Washington. Of course, they will have time to tour some of our capital's historic sites and celebrate Havdalah at the Jefferson Monument. But they will also study how the Reform movement applies Jewish perspectives to important issues like reproductive rights, climate change, gun control. They will select the issues most compelling to them, study them in depth, and prepare statements explaining how Judaism informs their positions. On Monday, we will travel to Capitol Hill to meet our elected officials and their staff members to advocate for the things we care about. We have appointments at the offices of Senators Menendez and Booker and Congressman Kane. I am sure our confirmands will be speaking out about the rise of anti-Semitism and the frightening climate on college campuses. Campuses that they may find themselves on in just a couple of years. Campuses like Rutgers University. Not unlike the high priest, when we travel to Capitol Hill, the temple of American democracy, we will have a uniform. Our students have been instructed on how to dress for our day on Capitol Hill. It is business attire, suits and ties, dress shirts or blouses, skirts or dresses of an appropriate length. While many places have become more casual, the Capitol is one of the few institutions where the players still dress the part. You could say, we are dressing British. But if we've done our jobs right, our teens will be thinking Yiddish. Shabbat Shalom. We continue with Emanu on page 282. Please rise.
Aleinu l'shaveach l'adon hakol, l'teit gedula liotzer bereshit, shelo asanu kegoyei haratzot, velo samanu kemishpechot adama, shelo sam chelkeinu kahem, begoraleinu bechol hamonam, va'anachnu korim umishtachavim modim lifnei melech malchei hamachim hakadosh baruch hu v'nemar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad u'shemo
You may be seated. Our thoughts turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. You are invited to rise and to remain standing when the name of your loved one is recited. We recall loved ones who've died in the last 30 days: Lyndon Cohen, mother of Joel Cohen; Susan Kane, mother of Alan Kane; and Paul Thau, husband of Carol Thau, father of Robin Plattman. As well, we recall those who have died at this season in years past: Alan Abrams, Bobby Alterson, Stella Barnett, Risa Bass, David Bernstein, David Berger, Bessie Boydman, Mo Brady, Rita Brandman, Lenora Cambrello, Estelle Cohen, Walter Cohen, Zipporah Davis, Kenneth Dickstein, Lawrence Elner, Wolf Fleisch, Thomas Forgash, Dorothy Friedman, Robert Gisser, Sadie Gissing, Arthur Gutman, Sidney Hecker, Mayor Heitner, Ira Heller, Sam Honig, Jesse Hyman, Theodore J., Irene Cantor, Carol Kaplan, Irving Kaplan, Helen Karafka, Catherine Cass, Marlene Castleman, Arthur Katcher, Morton M. Klein, Anita Koch, Celia Konigsberg, Bernice Kramer, Eleanor Krevsky, Janice Kushner, David Lipsky, Annie Mandel, Benjamin Mandel, David Markowitz, Joan Morak, Bessie Moskowitz, Samuel Moskowitz, Sadie Pazer, Bernice Pincus, Morris Pollock, Irene Popper, Lily Popper, Rita Popper, Sigmund Popper, Herman Resnick, Frank Rohr, Leona Rosencrantz, Isidore Rubin, Judith Beatrice Shackman, Arlene Schlesinger, Sandy Schulman, Esther Schwartz, Harry Schaffman, Iris Sherman, Hyman Siegel, Minnie Sklar, Sid Rentz-Sklaroff, Florence Stern, Rose Swirin, Rebecca Tischler, Sarah Joyce Trachtenberg, Sadie Weiss, Carl Weiss, J. Leonard Winters, Bernard Wolf, Evelyn Yemen. And if you are in the first year of mourning, I invite you to rise. And if there is someone who you are thinking of today and would like to share their names, I invite you to do so now. In sacred solidarity with all those who mourn, we rise and turn to page 294. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbah, bi'alma divrach yurteh v'yamlich malchuteh, b'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chaye d'chol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uv'izman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach le'alam u'lamei almaya, yitbarach v'yishabach v'yipa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shemei kedusha u'richu. Le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, da'amiran b'yalma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama Rabbah min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us and to all Israel, and to which we say, Amen. Please be seated. Our observance of Shabbat continues tomorrow with Holy Scrollers and the Minyan at Levi House, Simchat Shabbat, and of course, Gabriel will be called to the Torah as a bar mitzvah. On Tuesday night, the 27th, please join us for Heschel's Passover Eve, a one-man show here at the temple. And on Wednesday night, a reminder yet again about our ADL program. We hope you'll join us for that. A few dates to keep in mind: March 10th, our Torah dedication. We will parade down Broad Street and have a wonderful celebration with a Torah reading here. On March 12th, our Cold Tzedek speaker is going to be Ben Jealous. Ben Jealous is the executive director of the Sierra Club, former director of the NAACP, and he's going to speak to us about the convergence of environmental justice and social justice. It will be a great evening. I hope you'll be here. And we are planning our next mission to Israel, leaving on April 6th. Through and returning on April 11th. If you'd like to join us on that mission, please speak to me. We're getting details together as we speak, and we would love for you to join us. Our last mission was absolutely amazing, so we hope you'll join us again. Closing song.
Oseh Shalom. Let's bring in more peace to this
Absolutely.
Oh, say shalom b'roma, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru
our B'nai Mitzvah to work.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen.
Shabbat shalom.